Hello and welcome to another episode of The Collective. I am your host, Papa Smurf.
I am the Viking.
I am Mr. International.
Simmer down. Simmer down.
And I am Florida Man.
And I'm 31.
All right, so today is going to be an interesting topic. Well, we find it interesting, and I think a lot of people find it interesting. And we're going to talk about, well, we'll probably end up talking about a lot of things, but we're going to start with our feelings on sex work and legalization or not of such work and how we feel about that. So, somebody want to start with this?
I mean, we call it the world's oldest profession for a reason, and yet it's the only one that's not legal unanimously.
Yeah, that is kind of strange.
It's the only one that's not legal in some parts of the world.
Well, that's why I said not internationally. I mean, there's some areas where it is totally legal, like Amsterdam and stuff like that, but especially in America where, you know, we're so uptight about even looking at nipples.
Right.
I have nipples, Greg. Can you milk me? Well, so let's just take the United States, for example. In Nevada, they have a brothel. They have at least one, right? The Bunny Ranch.
No, I do believe it is legal in the state of Nevada, but
The whole state?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
I think so. I could be wrong.
I don't know.
I'm
I didn't know if that
shooting
was
off the mouth here.
like a Vegas area thing, or
It might be a city ordinance, but I know that it is legal there.
well, I for one am for it for numerous reasons, but you know, for me, it's personally, I think it would actually cut down on sex crimes. It would, I think it would provide a safer environment for the girls. And I think at that point you would have more people who that's what they want to do, rather than that's what they're forced to do.
Well, also, yeah, think about it. It would also reduce a large contingency of STDs.
Right.
Yeah, because then it could be regulated.
Yeah.
You know, they would go through testing and things of that nature, and that makes it safer for everyone.
Yeah.
I think at that point. Anyone else?
Yeah,
How do you guys feel?
me and Papa Smurf are the only two people on this podcast. Open your mouths, guys.
Yeah.
I know personally, I do agree with the fact that, you know, the sex trade, you know, should be legal. You know, it should be regulated. As you guys discussed or mentioned earlier, I feel that it empowers women. You know, they're not, I would say, 100% objectified.
Right.
They're protected, and it's regulated. And us as human beings, even though we might tend to hide this aspect of ourselves, like sex and sexual pleasure, it's in our DNA.
Mm-hmm.
It's in our DNA.
Yeah, I agree. And
Well, it's a biological function to procreate and create new life.
I see it as a need, you know, such as food, shelter, and sex.
it is. I do agree, unless you're an incel. Those guys are just weird.
I actually know a woman. She's asexual. She has absolutely zero interest in guys, women. She doesn't care.
So I think that is probably more of a common thread with women than men. You know, I joked about incels, but they're involuntarily celibate. That's the whole word of them. They don't want to be, but you know, as a male, 21. Right? As a male, that drives almost everything for us. Sex drives everything for a male, at least almost everything. Maybe not everything, but you know, it's a very important part of us.
And you know, we're such a repressed country. I mean, look at what's going on now with even overturning Roe v. Wade. We don't want women having free sex. You know, they want to take it. You know, there are elements that want to take it down to the base level of just sex is for reproduction, and that's it.
Yeah, and I'm really not trying to get into
No, I don't want to get too far into it either.
like a religious type debate, but I mean that's been like the Catholic Church,
Yeah.
Hardcore stance for a long time. I think they have lightened up on that.
Yeah.
In very recent past, like the last pope, and I don't even know about this one, but and so I think that's where people are getting that from. But to me, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, there's prostitution in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Mary Magdalene was a prostitute.
Was a prostitute.
That's who Jesus spent most of his time with the beggars, with the poor, with the prostitutes, and the lepers, and all
Right.
that. So he tried to spread his word through the, lack of a better term, less fortunate people of his time.
Yeah.
And it's hard to believe that, and this is if you believe the Bible. A few of us here do, few of us don't. I mean,
a lot of us have trauma with that.
That is what, yeah. He grew up in the Catholic Church. Regardless of how you feel about it, to me, it's hard to believe that a man could spend 33 years on Earth as a man. Now, granted, he was ultimately a deity, but
I have to say demigod.
that's fine. But ultimately, a man on this earth, and to spend 33 years of that and never have sex, I don't know. That would be... maybe he was the original incel. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it just seems that would be a very unlikely thing.
Maybe he had a micropene.
A what?
A what?
A micropene.
Oh,
A micro penis. A micro penis. All right. Maybe he had nothing. I don't know, but to me, I don't know. I mean, you guys can tell me what you think.
No, I mean,
it seems very difficult.
Look at how easy it is now to get porn. I mean,
Jesus, why couldn't we have that when we were kids?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's such an easy thing to see porn now. I mean, hell, you got, OnlyFans, and TikTok is damn near porn.
It depends on your feed, I guess.
Yeah.
Depends on your For You page of what you're looking into.
Anyways,
when you compare different environments with, having grown up in Europe and living in the United States, it's like two opposite ends of the spectrum. Because, for example, in France, we're living there for about 3.5, 4 years, everything for the most part is sexualized. Even McDonald's commercials, you could see a lady dressed in a bikini, munching on a burger. Sex is used to sell a bottle
You said munching.
Or taking a bite out of a burger.
Yeah.
You could watch a commercial on, let's say, Evian water.
Okay.
Everything is sexualized, and coming here, there seems to be a cloud or shelter over sex in general.
I think that starts back when the Protestants came over here, mostly because they were kicked out of Europe for being too sexually repressed. So it's kind of ingrained in the founding of America, that sexual repression. And it just has continued to go down the generations up till now.
Well, it's stupid. I have had the opportunity to travel in Europe. I've had the opportunity to travel some Asian countries.
Taiwan?
No, I did not go to
Thailand?
Taiwan. No, I did not go to Thailand, but I know what you're getting at. And the femboys, no. But I did go to Amsterdam, where they have a very well recognized red light district. Mm-hmm. I did go to Seoul in South Korea, where they also have a red light district. And, it's nothing for them, for the people who live there. You walk in, you do what you do, and that's that. And I don't see an issue with that per se. Now, people will argue that it, teaches our children bad things early or things like that. And there may be something with that. I don't know, but let's be honest. We're all male. And
dude, as soon as I realized what that thing was for, I was going through my dad's Playboys.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. And, if you had cable, the Spice Channel was always, blurry, and you were just hoping to get a section of clear enough picture,
For a brief second.
Yeah.
I remember that as a kid.
And that brief second lasted you for about a week.
You put that picture in the spank bank, right? And everybody, all of us, I think at one point in time probably found, a Playboy or found access to it.
And the other thing is, sex is a marketing tool even in America. Look at Cosmo, look at Maxim, look at
Carl's Jr.
beer commercials. They use women in bikinis and provocative outfits to sell products, even in America. But when we come down to actually having sex, it's like, oh no, that's taboo. What's the difference between sexualizing a woman for a commercial and allowing them to express their own freedoms and expression whatever way they choose?
I mean, I can walk around without my shirt on and everything's fine. Why can't a woman?
Well, see, that's a double-edged sword too. Scientifically, it's been scientifically proven that bras are not beneficial. It's just like wearing a back brace all the time. If you're actually making those muscles hold your breast up, it's actually healthier than having a brace holding it all the time. Just like if you wear a back brace all the time, and your back actually gets weaker. Mm-hmm. But the double-edged sword of that is, I just want to see women without bras on.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, that's why, it's like, yes, I believe in the health benefits of not wearing a bra, and it should be a woman's choice, But
at the same time, it is a very nice sight to see.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. There is a movement going on with that.
Yes, there is.
Girls aren't wearing them.
Yeah,
anymore.
and it's really hard to, it's very hard to be a guy saying, I support you. And they're going to be like, for what reason?
And the answer is yes.
So I definitely think that it should be legalized. Now, is that going to stop all crime? Is that going to stop sex trafficking?
That's what I was going to bring up is if we do legalize it, do you think it's going to slow down or if it's going to increase?
Slow down.
I think more women would be, they realize that it is going to be more regulated and more, like better term, safer for the women. So there might be more willing to voluntarily be a part of it.
If a prostitute gets assaulted or raped, which,
happens.
She can't, which happens all the time. She can't go and report that to the police because
she's admitting to a crime.
She will get arrested for prostitution, and they probably won't even go after the guy they went after because they're going to say, "Well, you had it coming."
Well, and that's what I was going to bring up too. They're going to be less likely to believe her,
right? Or
oh, this guy probably just didn't pay or something like that. But I don't know. It won't stop. Things like sex trafficking and stuff like that. It's not going to stop, but I think it's a step forward to lessening, it's just like the war on drugs, right?
Yeah.
Right. This whole war on drugs thing. Did this war on drugs stop people from using drugs?
No.
No, absolutely not.
Did it stop people from getting drugs? Places like Oregon, Portland, or maybe all of Oregon, I'm not sure. They didn't legalize drugs. They decriminalized it. And I'd be interested to see what kind of statistics are out there. Now, the problem is they didn't just decriminalize marijuana. They decriminalized everything. I guess gives you the freedom to make your own choices.
Well, didn't they do that in Ohio too?
Ohio has basically decriminalized marijuana.
Okay.
Excuse you.
Yeah, that was the dog. they have basically decriminalized marijuana. It's almost like getting a ticket.
Disclaimer,
anymore.
we are not professional podcasters, so you will hear outside noises.
Well, yeah, and the dog, yeah, he's fine. So my thing is I'm willing to bet that if you legalize some of those things, it would lessen the effect of the illegal acts.
And it would probably lessen the severity of those illegal acts, too.
Probably. Yeah.
Knowing that there's more consequences for the assailant, not the victim.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, do we know is it kind of like how marijuana is? Is it a state by state basis, or is it like a whole federal?
There is no federal law against prostitution.
Okay.
I think it's just a kind of a universal state thing.
Oh, is that just kind of how it is? And Nevada said, fuck y'all.
Pretty much. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure there's no federal law against prostitution.
I know California is trying to legalize it out there.
Yeah.
They've been trying to legalize it.
Yeah, I think that's one of those ones where the federal government says, we don't really care what you guys do.
Well, and I guess in that case, everybody kind of needs to come around and, agree, or I don't know. To me, it just seems that it would be more beneficial. Plus, you wouldn't have pimps beating up their girls,
Right.
And the girls.
Yeah, just stop slapping your mom around.
Yeah, the girls. The girls would actually, make money, have a living, and I know nobody likes them, but pay taxes.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with marijuana. And I think, personally, you can regulate that stuff. You can get tax money from that stuff. I mean, come on. Alcohol is legal.
Yeah.
And alcohol can be absolutely terrible.
Well, statistically speaking, alcohol kills more people than weed does.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't heard too many weed deaths.
That's because they're driving too slow.
That's a good one.
The only weed death is overeating.
Yeah.
The munchies too hard.
Yeah.
Whether it has medicinal purposes or not, who knows? Does it make you feel better? Sure, I'm sure it does. At least when you're using it. And, the thing with that is for the most part, somebody who is on weed is actually pretty chill, and as long as you're doing it in a safe manner, if you're doing it in your house on your couch, I can pretty much guarantee you're not even going to want to get up and go drive a car.
Yeah.
Unless your shit sucks. and in that case, sorry. And then we have DoorDash and everything else. You can get everything you possibly could need delivered to you these days. Thank you, COVID.
Yeah, I was out delivering to that shit.
Yeah, but there's something to be said for that. So on the flip side of that, if you like to drink and drive, you're a fucking idiot, and don't do that. Because you're going to kill someone, and you're not going to kill yourself. You're going to kill someone else.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually starting to become, I don't know if it's just a trend or just an inside joke among Florida Man and I's generation, but it's become popular to glorify drinking and driving. Once someone gets to that certain level, the joke is basically, all right, he's had enough, hand him his keys and he can go home. He's fine. Nowadays.
What?
Yeah. It's starting to become, I wouldn't say popular, but at least it's a running joke among our generation.
Wow. I
don't know if they're actually taking it seriously or is it just part of a joke.
Tide Pods are good, so.
That's true. Yeah.
That wasn't our generation.
That was the one below it.
Yeah.
Get your facts right.
What's that like?
I don't know. All you young bucks look alike.
What did you say?
I said all you young bucks look alike.
According to the diplomat, we all sound alike too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you guys do.
Sometimes?
It's okay. Yeah, but going back to,
I'm just gonna skip over that one.
with someone who's been drinking, going back to handing them their keys, what's that, like some new social media challenge?
No. I don't know if it's a challenge, but it's probably just like a running joke among, at least I've seen it on TikTok quite a bit, where, they had about 5 or 6 too many, and like, okay, it's the party's over, so I'm just going to hand them their keys. And
see, that's the thing is like our generation, at least, parties I went to, you put your keys in a fishbowl.
Yeah.
Right.
And
that was it.
You either crashed on the couch or you got a taxi home. You were not getting your keys back if you were drinking. That was like our generation was like, no.
When I used to party and stuff down in Florida, we always hung our keys up on a chandelier, and no one was allowed to touch them.
Yeah,
right.
The same kind of thing.
I like that, you can visually see whose keys are still there.
Yeah,
and
that was the point of it.
Yeah,
that's not a. I guess the only thing we have going for us is your generation and younger. They really don't give a shit about getting their driver's license.
No.
So they're not driving until they're in their 20s.
That's another thing for, difference between us and other countries. Like in Germany, you start drinking at 12, 13 years old, but you can't get your license until you're over 18. You can't even apply for it.
So So the thought of drinking and driving isn't that big of a deal because you've already been drinking for 2 years and now you're just driving.
Yeah, that binge drinking kind of works itself out before they start driving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't really drink much anymore. I'm good on drinking, but I especially don't like drunk driving. There's no reason for it. Call someone, get an Uber. That's so much cheaper, even nowadays with inflation and everything else, to get an Uber than it ever was for us to get a taxi.
Oh yeah,
taxis were expensive.
Well, plus like I grew up in middle of nowhere, Michigan. You weren't getting a taxi anywhere.
Oh, where there just not taxi services, really?
The closest one was probably 20 miles away.
Wow.
I had a friend in college who basically he said he perfected the art of drinking and driving.
Yeah, there's no
because especially in those back roads over in Northwest Ohio, over by Findlay and all that, and probably close to Toledo. He would basically every time he saw a cop, he'd basically turn all his mirrors away and the side mirrors just out and just basically just zone in for the next however long until he got to his house. And if he knew he was getting followed, like say he needed to make a right turn to get to his house, he'd have to actually make a left turn just so it'd take him longer. And hopefully the cop would just kind of lose interest.
Wow. It's completely irresponsible.
Oh my God.
Oh, he tried to. There was one St. Patrick's Day. He tried to drive us home. I'm like, no, you've been sipping on Long Island since about 3:00 in the afternoon.
Right.
It's now 3 in the morning.
I remember back in college, we used to have like house parties almost every other day. Me and my friends and a few people from the school. Like if I see you drove to the spot, you've had plenty to drink, you're not going home that night. You're going to sleep on the couch and find a nice little corner to go to sleep. Even if it means me wrestling your keys off of you.
Right.
Yeah. We never stood for that.
No, that's the thing is,
we still planned for that.
Irresponsibility, if you have a friend over and you let them get drunk and leave, that's on you too for letting them leave.
And there's some people that say, no, you're not allowed to sleep here.
Yeah.
I had a buddy like that. It's like, what the hell are we coming over to drink for?
If you're going to have a party, you better be prepared for people just
to
crash.
Crashed. I mean, you can wake them all up early in the morning. I don't care what you do, but you've got to be prepared for people just to be all over the place,
right?
Sleeping, especially if it's that big of a party. I don't know. I drink. I don't drink a lot. And
as I usually have about 1 cup of the Vikings meat, I'm like, all right, I'm good.
and I do it in my own home.
Right.
I don't do it out. I have no problem being a DD. Honestly, I prefer to be the driver anyways, and I don't like drinking outside of my house. So, Yeah,
it's usually me. Like, if I go to a party, I might have a drink or two over the course of like 3-4 hours.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But if I'm gonna even remotely get close to buzzed, I'm doing it at home.
Yeah. If we're having we're having a night of it, we're doing this at home. Of course, if you're drinking by yourself, does that make you an alcoholic?
No. Well, me and you will just start doing Zoom calls while drinking. So that we're not drinking alone.
Yeah.
Because it's sad when you're drinking alone, but if you're drinking with someone, it's not as sad.
Exactly.
Yeah, I suppose that could be true. I don't know. I
don't know. It depends on your reason for drinking. If you're just drinking to forget, then yeah, you probably have a problem.
Well, yes, I agree. But so to go back on this, we've kind of gotten really far. We have the whole thing about alcohol, but so to me, in my opinion, because it is just an opinion, marijuana is so much more safer than even alcohol. We had talked about it earlier this week. We had prohibition and everything else. Why did prohibition come through and alcohol became illegal, and then that was then reversed? But once marijuana became illegal, or it's a Schedule 1 drug, which is the highest level of a drug, why didn't that get as much attention to becoming legal again? Because it was legal in this country.
I could go down the conjecture of saying that because statistically speaking, most of the people that get arrested for marijuana violations are of the African American community. And hey, I'm not trying to be racist. Statistically speaking, the original reason why it became a Class 1 narcotic was to arrest marginalized people. And now they don't want to let that change. So there's not enough outcry, versus the affluent white community that was protesting and basically demanding the government repeal the Prohibition Amendment.
Okay. What are their drug laws in some of the countries you've lived in? Do you know?
The only thing I can think about right now is, with having lived in France, people start drinking at an early age. Let's say if you're 15, 16, you could have a glass of wine, at dinner with your parents, under your parents' supervision. So it's starting at an early age with drinking alcohol. Once you get older, let's say 18, 20, 19, 20, 21, 22, there's not that need to binge drink as compared to, let's say, out here in the United States with having the drinking age at 21, I believe.
Yeah.
At 21. But
used to be 18, but...
Yeah, but if people here still want to go out and drink, they can still get access to alcoholic beverages. And since by law they're not allowed to, or they're not of drinking age, they're just going to keep on binge drinking till it expands more into a bigger problem.
But, okay, so I think most Americans at least are familiar with European alcohol laws, but I don't know about drug laws.
Yeah, I'm not versed on drug laws in Europe.
In Europe?
Yeah.
I just was wondering, because it would be interesting to know. We can't be the only country that's like, why isn't marijuana legal? We can't be.
As far as I know, it's still legal, like how we have it over here.
Over there.
Yeah, if not worse. I know Australia, they're really strict about that stuff.
I wonder, I don't know. I wonder why that is. Get beat up by a kangaroo.
They did lose a war against birds, so.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be a good reason why.
So back to the topic of legalizing prostitution.
Yes.
Now that we've gone so far off that, some of the simpler ones, like getting a massage and happy endings, that's a hard thing to, like, what? You got something to say, diplomat?
I was laughing because you said that was a hard thing.
That's why I made the face too.
Lies.
Well, go ahead.
It's such a taboo thing that it's not something that you can just go in and any massage parlor and go, hey, can I get a happy ending? You know, usually they're shady or not great places to go. And, you know, it's...
But what makes such a place, you know, quote unquote, shady per se? You know, because with our topic...
It's seen as shady just because it's done underground. You know,
Okay.
you're not going to go into, you know, Massage Envy, you know, a large multi-state company that's, you know, recognized.
Right.
You're not going to be able to go into something that people would see as a more reputable business. You're going to have to go to a small... tiny mom and pop style,
place, yeah.
you know, massage therapy place that, you know, is underground. Nobody really knows about it. It's
Right.
kind of spread word of mouth.
Plus, they can't really do it. Like if you're a first time visitor, they probably won't even offer that option.
Right.
They have to, like by the term, get to know you
Build
and
a
get
rapport,
to and they kind of have to make an educated guess on if you're actually going to say something.
And
or
I
not.
think a lot of that also comes from the fact that, once again, you know, because Americans are so repressed, you know, we have this monogamous ideal of, you know, relationship. Like, you're with one woman for the rest of your life, regardless of what's going on. And I think that's why you see so many famous people getting caught in these prostitute scandals or, you know, these sex scandals, because it's so taboo to think of having sex with somebody other than your wife or your girlfriend, you know, or your significant other if you're, you know, of a different persuasion.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but going back to, you know, let's go back a little bit to some of these, you know, small mom and pop massage parlors. I mean, I'm guessing that with them, let's say, trying to offer extra services after their massage session, a lot of these small mom and pop massage places are owned by foreigners. Some European, some Asian. And going back to sex and culture, in their culture, it's common.
Right.
Sex is sex. It's not taboo. You know, it is what it is.
But
so with them,
unfortunately, it is illegal. Technically, it is under prostitution, and it's illegal to do that in America. And that's why those places are seen as shady and, you know, get the reputation of being dirty places, even though they
based on the laws here.
Yeah. And that, you know, so even something as simple as that, you know, a guy can go get a massage and happy ending at the end, you know, that could change his whole life.
Right.
You know,
Right.
especially if he's, you know, married for 15, 20 years and, you know, sex has dwindled and he's just, it's either that or cheating on his wife.
Right.
You know, he could just go to the massage there, you know, the massage parlor and get a happy ending and,
It'll be fine.
you know, but that's seen as cheating and, you know, it's prostitution and stuff as simple as that. It really is stupid.
I think it all goes back to the argument for legalizing sex work or the sex trade out here. You know, obviously when it's, you know, have it regulated, you know, let them pay taxes, you know, because it's sex, you know, with two mutual agreeing adults, like, what's the issue there? You know, like going back to us guys, well, speaking for myself, sex is a way of showing emotion with whoever you're with.
Yeah,
you know,
affection.
caring.
That's actually a social dynamic issue we have in this country too. But go ahead and finish your thought real quick.
And, you know, from my understanding, this is how we express ourselves, express who we are to our significant other, girlfriend, or you know, or whoever. You know, women might find different ways of showing affection. They might not be as sexual as us men, you know, but sex is, like I said earlier, it's not DNA. It's part of who we are. And the sooner we accept that and don't shy away from it, you know, the better it will be.
Well, that comes with a lot of the, you know, I personally was growing up told boys don't cry, boys don't show emotion. And what happens is guys start to repress that. And the only time they're allowed to feel vulnerable or affectionate is in the act of having sex. So that's why guys crave sex so much more than women do in general, because that is the only time we're allowed to show vulnerability and a softer side of ourselves. We're supposed to be seen in, American society as the big tough guy that can, push a car with his penis.
For lack of a better term.
Yeah.
That happens?
Once.
So how big was she? Damn.
Jesus. But so we are as men in America are very, very repressed emotionally, and so I think that is why men crave sex as much as they do, because of the way that we're told that's the only time we're allowed to show emotion. We're showing the softer side of ourselves.
Mostly because we're naked.
Look, it's not always soft. There's a blue pill for that.
That's true. That's not actually what I was referring to. I was speaking more on the uncomfortableness of being naked, because Americans are not comfortable in that.
In their nakedness.
Yeah. Again, I mean, that kind of goes into the same thing. Nude beaches and things like that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know how many times I've gone to the ocean or even Lake Erie and gone swimming to see some fat guy with tits bigger than my wife, and I'm like, he doesn't have to wear a bra? But she does?
Yeah. Seinfeld had an episode about that.
Yeah, the man's ear.
Was it the man's ear or the bro?
I think they were. I don't know if they ever decided on that. I haven't seen that episode in a long, long time. But I thought
that was what they were both from, or is the bro from something else?
Was it Bro? How I Met Your Mother?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. That is just popping into my head. But anyways,
when we start getting published, our 5 listeners, if you let us know.
Yeah, actually, we'll set up. We're actually going to have to set up an email address and everything, anyways. So, if you are one of the 5 listeners, we would greatly appreciate any kind of feedback. I don't know what we're gonna probably I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we have to do that today.
We do. This is actually our 3rd episode, and we don't have anything published yet. But that's okay.
We're doing this for ourselves, anyways.
Yeah. Kind of don't really care. I mean, if you like it, cool. If you don't,
we're still gonna talk about this stuff. It's just we won't record it.
No, we'll still record it, because even for ourselves. And I'm sure we have a small contingent of people around us that will at least listen. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Oh, man, there was something I was going to bring up. ADHD brain, like Florida man over there.
Yeah, actually, Florida man, what are your thoughts? You've been fairly quiet.
Yeah.
And random thoughts of the day?
Not yet. These haven't kicked in yet.
You get him. He's talking about a ghost.
Which is, we're trying to get that as our first sponsor. That or Zyn. That would be our first sponsor.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
We just get cases of Zyn or Ghost just delivered to our house.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Oh, I can't wait till we have to do the ad spots for that.
Oh, that's all. That's all Florida man and I we'll get that shit down pat.
Then I'll just hit a button. Yeah, I mean, we get you, on the phone or in person, you don't shut up.
Yeah, I don't really have any insight over anything on it. I just know our generation, sex is hard to come by.
Which is actually kind of funny, considering there are so many social media networks and, ways to reach out and meet people.
Right.
Like my generation, I had AOL chat.
What? Yeah, and it was terrible.
Yeah.
I had Yahoo Messenger.
I actually had to leave the house and meet someone.
And I think we don't really think about it too much.
I've actually heard that as well. That, again, it goes into the whole people driving. They don't do that stuff anymore. They don't.
I think it's from when we were at that college age, 18 to 21, 22. That's kind of like I don't want to say best time. That's more the more popular time to just go out and meet a bunch of people and have those experiences, either drinking stupid amounts or going and meeting new people and all that, to where you get to where Florida Man and I, our age, we're kind of already have other things on our plate where it's kind of, at least in my mind, it's kind of on the back burner.
So you're saying your numbers are so high?
No.
From
No.
So high from your college years that you're good for the rest of,
No, I think a lot of it comes to the fact that
Father Dave did a number on me. I'm
generation
good.
and younger are also more socially aware of their emotions, and they are also more socially aware of the overpopulation that. There are more and more of the younger generation who are saying that I am not in a rush to have a family. Hell, they can't even afford a house.
Well, not having a family or a house or things like that.
But that's not their driving factor in life. And like I said, I think even
compared to your guys' generation when you were our age, it was get the good job, get the house, and then start the family. Or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, it was pushed into us as kids. Where I think your guys' generation, the next one coming up, that's not the main focus. And so sex and relationships are not the primary focus.
It's a lot of, from what I've seen, it's a lot of basically focusing on yourself and getting what you want accomplished in life. And then if something or someone comes along that either pushes you or kind of has a similar like mindset and you guys click, then it'll kind of happen. But
absolutely, because at first, you do have to work. You do have to work on yourself. Like for me, for example, I was married for 10 years. I got divorced. I was in New Jersey, got divorced, moved here to Ohio. And I wanted to go out and meet people just to get my mind off of my divorce. But mentally, I wasn't ready to go out, socialize, and meet women. I was broken. I had a lot of shit going on in my head. I was angry, all the emotions. But first,
you were an angry black man?
You were an angry black man?
I was an angry black man.
Okay. The only reason I bring this up is because just the other day you looked at me and said, "Do I come off as an angry black man?" I just want to say you admitted it.
Sometimes I can come off as being a little bit too.
What time was that? That clip? Make sure we.
I mean, sometimes I can come off as being, quote unquote, aggressive, but I think I'm a very passionate human being.
You've whipped your customers in the line. I would say that's fairly.
We'll get back to that some other time.
Florida Man is your substitute. And we hear stories.
We're not directly a postal podcast, but I mean, we all admitted that we are, so we have to throw something about working.
The dog's inside. You can deliver the mail.
Or they grab their dog, bring it inside.
As soon as they see me pulling up.
Which, don't get me wrong, if you're listening to this and you do not work with us, we absolutely do appreciate that. At least until we get to know the animal and the animal gets to know us.
But it's really sad when the customer's tail is between their legs.
But that's the diplomat.
But going back to that, recently got divorced, moved to Ohio. This was about 4 years ago. And my friends know I do love women and all that good stuff. But mentally, I wasn't ready to socialize and put myself out there. So I was on my own for a very long period of time. I wouldn't go out, meet people. I read lots of books. I read books on self-improvement, reflection. And up until when I felt like I was mentally ready to go out and meet somebody, that's when I stepped out and put myself out there.
Now, when you say stepped out and put yourself out there, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, so if you don't want to talk about this, we don't have to. But you didn't go to bars, did you, to meet people, or did you do that initially?
When I was ready to go out, I did go out to bars, maybe a few clubs, not to meet people necessarily, but just to put myself in that environment, being out, having a good time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you just kind of went out there to
just have a good time.
To do you.
And then if you happen to meet someone while there, that was fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But before that, like I said, I was on my own for a while, almost a year.
Right.
Just working on myself.
Right.
Until I felt like I was ready to go out and meet somebody.
But not expecting necessarily
a relationship.
Well, that was the thing that happened when I met my now wife. I had just got out of a 4-year engagement with a woman, and it was not a pretty breakup. And I went to my event totally expecting to do nothing but drink and fight. And
he does a role playing fight. It's not an actual fighting.
Yeah, I do. I was doing a live action role play in my 20s. I'm too old now. But
that was like 60 years ago or something, wasn't it?
Yeah,
the Viking was born in 1442 because he sailed the ocean blue with Christopher Columbus.
Yeah.
So.
Where's your cane? Where's your cane?
Oh, he's got a pimp cane.
Oh yeah,
it's hiding under his kilt right now.
Oh yeah, that's true. We are all wearing kilts right now, except for the diplomat. Except for the diplomat, he was surprised when he walked in, and he's like, "What the fuck is going on?"
But yeah, no, I had no intention of I wasn't interested in finding a woman or anything like that. I was just I'm gonna get drunk to wash away the pain and fight to get rid of the rest of it. And
until there was physical pain.
That actually was the beginning of the end for my fighting career because I screwed up my rotator cuff. But a mutual friend introduced me my now wife, and I was so drunk when I met her. I'm like, I won't even remember your name. You're just cute redhead for now. And somehow she found it endearing, and we ended up seeing each other sporadically, and then moved in together and got married. And
redheads.
Yeah. Yeah, but hers is red by choice, not by birth.
Oh, okay. Nah, never mind then.
Yeah. No, I do have a weakness for redheads, though.
Well, I mean, how can you not? Well, I mean, oh shit, hold on, there, go, say that again.
I think we all do.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you think we all do?
Yeah.
The diplomat, do you don't have a weakness for redheads, do you?
Not really, no.
No, just white girls.
Just
that face.
I wish everybody else could have seen that. That was pretty funny.
Papa Smurf, help me out here, man.
This is why we need it. That's why we should maybe think about recording a video while doing
right.
I don't know. It's
the diplomat is the reason why once they go black, they don't come back.
I mean, with what Florida man said, it's not by choice. I just end up finding myself in that situation. Mm-hmm. Oh boy.
Okay. Oh, so really, it was just you're an equal opportunity
employer,
destroyer.
You see what you just did, Florida man?
That wasn't me.
This is what he does best.
Well, actually, what I was gonna get at earlier is, you're in our generation, I suppose, not with Florida man and 31 over there, and yet to find the person you are with today, you actually did that online or through an app.
I sure did.
However it was. And to me, that's pretty foreign. Viking, I don't know how you feel about it. To me, I just...
Look, when I was in before I got into a serious relationship, I was trying anything. I would have paid a woman to have sex. That's how desperate I was.
But I'm saying to find a relationship online through an app, I mean, it happens all over the place nowadays. I mean, that's why those apps are there.
Yeah. I have those apps.
Well, you can put your username out and do whatever you want here in a minute. But to me, that's just I don't know. I don't think I would have done that. And it's interesting to see that in someone who is a little older. You're not quite.
But in the same generation.
You're not the younger generation. And I think that, even sex trade, there's no reason you can't have apps, right? And have someone come to your house or you meet someone.
Those apps do exist.
Simmer down.
Oh, they do exist.
They do exist.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, again, I guess I guess right now we don't have to go into too much detail, but those apps do exist. No kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I guess I knew like the websites like what is it, like Backpage. I don't even know if that's still a thing.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know about that one.
For my single
I haven't
days,
been on it in a while.
for my single days, it's a thing.
Okay.
For my single days, it's a thing. And just like you have an app for everything, even in the escort industry or with the escort service, there's an app for everything.
Okay.
Well, see, that's the thing, though. We have, escorts. And most people probably don't use those to the fullest ability. The whole idea of an escort is you pay a woman to go to a social event or something like that.
But like a wedding.
Yeah, like a wedding.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
It's pretty well known that
13 months.
Escorts are also willing to do other stuff, but not on the surface. It's like, no, we don't do that. But what
Kind of
happens,
like a massage parlor.
right? What happens behind closed doors, you know?
I believe escorts are also classified as high class sex workers or prostitutes.
Which goes again to the factions with money don't care to press charges versus the, like lower class prostitute, not ideal, but image, the sleazy, pretty woman
on the corner.
Yeah, right.
Do you suck dicks?
Yeah, pretty much. You drive up and pick up a lady on the side of the road. Those are seen as lowbrow prostitution
Absolutely.
versus, paying for, an escort. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's another case of, the rich and, have a different set of laws than the poor.
All right. Well, I don't know. To me, that's just crazy. Like,
Well, you're a good-looking man. You don't have to pay for sex, so whatever.
Well, that's not why. Because trust me, I definitely went through my time of not being able to, whatever. But I don't know. That just, to me, that was kind of cool. You actually found someone on. Now you used an actual dating app.
Yeah, I was on Hinge.
Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, Tinder or something. Which even then, I don't know. Florida man, I know you're on Tinder and
Yeah, I get on
Grindr.
that. Yeah. No one knows about that one.
We do now.
But effectively, those initially were just hookups.
Yeah. Tinder is more like not really hookup anymore.
It's not.
No.
Now, wasn't Facebook originally designed to be like a college dating
college
site?
meetup kind of a thing.
Yeah, I think it was initially, we've all seen the movie. Maybe you haven't, but it was just so you got to know the people who were.
Yeah, you could only get the app or get the account if you had a college email.
Well, it started out at just Harvard.
Yeah.
And then it spread from there, and now he's a bazillionaire. But
Not only the old people use Facebook.
Hey, I met a 20-year-old who, while fishing today, that basically said, "Hey, I got a Facebook. If you want to get together, go fishing." So
Because he assumed you had a Facebook and only a Facebook.
Hey, that's what he offered. I'm like, yeah, sure.
I guess.
I like meeting random men, and
Meeting men?
No, he said it.
Yeah, no, he definitely said he likes meeting random men.
Yeah.
Which we don't judge here.
No.
We don't judge.
No,
That's good. My wife might judge on that comment.
We're a
But
judge-free zone.
Oh, this is a judgment-free zone?
Yeah, absolutely. Judgment-free zone.
You say that with a smirk on your face.
While recording, it's a judgment-free zone.
yeah.
Oh, no, we can judge. I'm definitely judging. But,
Hey, you're the one wearing my skirt, so I don't.
it's a kilt.
Get it right.
Do I have underwear on?
How warm are your hands?
I do. This is kind of comfortable. I've never been in a kilt before. I am
If I had one that fits, I
Mediterranean.
probably would wear it a little bit more often, especially around the house.
Oh, they're great.
You want to have underwear on.
I'm at my house. No, I wouldn't have underwear on.
By the way,
even out in public, you want to.
Well, if I'm wearing just the kilt, then yeah.
Yeah, I've gotten myself in trouble a couple of times not realizing I'm wearing my kilt and I'm doing yard work or whatever, and I have to climb up on the roof to clear out sticks or something like that, and I'm up on the second story of my house wearing a kilt.
And then a nice summer breeze comes by.
By the way, where's mine, Viking?
I only had 4. And
you are the smallest one.
As after wearing your shirt yesterday,
and you call this a judgment-free zone?
I'm not.
No. He's saying he's too big to have a kilt that fits you.
Yeah,
his kilts barely fit Florida Man and I.
Yeah, you are a lean, slender, tall.
You are the slender man.
Look, the kilt would wrap all the way around you twice.
What's the average waist size on that?
I think the one I'm wearing right now is like a waist 48.
Okay, that's not going to work.
But kilts are based off of not your hip waist that we normally wear jeans at. They're based off your stomach waist. And I'm fat.
Okay, that clears that right up. It would be fun to see you in a kilt, though, Diplomat.
You say that with a serious look on your face.
Oh, because I totally want to see this.
Well, you might in a year from now, quite possibly.
Why not now?
Well,
why a year?
Yeah. Why are we waiting?
I don't see any extra kilts laying around.
Oh, you're saying you're going to get fat and happy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's going to take a year, but we'll give it a shot next year.
Well,
you're still going to be in the honeymoon phase next year.
Yeah, I mean, it might take longer than that. But that white woman Italian cooking. Ooh, doggy. What were you? Well, okay. Oh, I don't know what he's doing. Oh, shit.
Grabbing tissues.
Oh, that could be what it is.
Oh, I think he's crying now.
Oh, we made him cry.
So we actually did make him cry yesterday.
And I missed this?
Yes, because the Viking likes to show up to work without his uniform shirt. And I really can't actually get this quite yet because you keep your shirt in your personal vehicle and then put it on when you get to work? Is that how this works?
I take it off when I get home and I hang it up by the door. Every 2 or 3 days I switch them out. Mm-hmm. And I just forgot to grab a shirt. And then I had a bunch of stuff going on yesterday morning trying to get ready for work and left the house and forgot to put my shirt on and got all the way to work and went, oh, shit.
So ultimately, you called me. I'm usually over-prepared, and I didn't have a shirt for you. Not that you would have been able to fit in the shirt that I would have brought because it's fairly warm outside. So you called the Diplomat, and he was still at home, and he says that he looked for the biggest shirt that he has.
Now, for size comparison, I am a 2X, and the Diplomat is a large.
Or a medium by the look of that shirt. Go ahead. You're good. Yeah, you're good.
Alrighty, so what was this? Yesterday morning? I'm really not a morning person.
No.
So I'm getting ready for work, standing in my kitchen. I got my bags ready, and then I get a phone call. Like, who the fuck's calling me this early? I look, and it's the Viking. Like, okay, what could he want? Pick up the phone. He goes, hey, I need a shirt, blah, blah, blah. I didn't hear half of what else he said. I'm like, okay. All that registered was work shirt. I'm like, okay. So I go into my closet. I look for the biggest, like the largest shirt I could find. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, all right, hopefully this works. Drop in my bag and head to work. Walk into the office. I'm like, yo, I got your shirt. We walk outside, pull out the shirt, and he puts one arm in. I'm like, okay, this might work. He puts another arm in, and I noticed it was a struggle button up the work shirt.
Like, a struggle is an understatement.
I was like, holy fuck. We walk inside, and from the moment we walked in, I lost it. I was in tears. I was rolling. I couldn't stand through our meeting. I had to go stand in the corner. So,
it was legit for a good 10 minutes.
So I'm not disruptive. I was in tears. Tears rolling down my face.
For a visual, guys, I seriously looked like the Michelin Man in that shirt.
And I sent a picture to remind you in case you forgot.
You did have a 6-pack.
Yeah.
I would not call that a 6-pack.
6 keg.
If that shirt could talk, it would be screaming.
Yeah.
He actually ended up, but well constructed.
Oh yeah,
very well constructed.
American made, baby.
I'm surprised it held together.
Yeah, the buttons didn't pop actually, and this shirt did rip. That's collateral damage, I guess.
Tried to bend down.
I did. It started to tear. I'm like, oh, here it goes.
And you were a good sport about it, which made it all the better. But boy, that was.
And to give everyone a visual,
that was great.
To give everyone a visual, I'm 6'6", about 230, and
I'm 5'11" and 266.
Yeah, there's a vast difference.
Try to picture that.
Yeah, a vast difference. So, I give it to you. You tried.
No, and I am very grateful for the attempt.
And it was hilarious.
It was glorious.
I even was like, dude, just unbutton that. We'll go get you a shirt. Maybe don't kill someone with a button while you're in here. But no, you were like, nope, I'm wearing it.
Don't kill anyone, but most importantly, don't kill yourself.
Yeah, he did.
I would definitely say if I was a good sport about it, that definitely would have been a walk of shame. But man, I marched through that office.
You get props for that, man.
I did. Our supervisor.
I did
laughing at his desk.
So he starts walking away to go look for shirts, and I start singing "Fat Guy in a Little Coat," and our supervisor looked over and he was like, "What the fuck is that?" He didn't. I don't think he actually said that. But he said something, and he was just because now he's got to figure out what the hell am I going to do about this? I can't send him out on the street looking like that. Like, oh my God. It was great. It made for a very, very good day. We started out very humorous, and the day was.
Yes, it definitely lightened the mood of just about everybody at the office.
I'm really upset that I missed that.
we got pictures. I don't even know if you knew that I was. I
knew you did.
That was great. So I did disseminate that picture to our
I'm actually going to take that picture, and I'm going to take the picture that 31 sent me of the Michelin Man, and I'm going to side by side it.
Are you going to hang it up at your case?
I will definitely get that printed off, and I'll put it up at the main front board.
Don't dry your shirts before work.
No, don't forget your work shirt.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're going to look like this.
Thankfully, Papa Smurf, as a union steward, had access to the union hall with plenty of extra shirts.
Yeah. Well, no, even then, we went
through almost every shirt. I got lucky that there was at least one that fit me.
We found one shirt. Everything else, at most, we found was XL.
Which still would have been snug, but definitely not.
It would have been manageable,
the medium or large or whatever Diplomat gave me.
To give you an idea, I wear a medium work shirt.
Yeah.
Right. So all I had was large. I have a large shirt for like the polos is what I was wearing.
And the problem is not only am I a fat guy, but I'm also very broad-shouldered and barrel-chested. So even when I was in my peak health, I was still an extra large.
Well, and I even told you, like, the top of the shirt looked great on you. Your shoulders and everything, it looked great. And then you
look down.
Then you look down, and well, that ruined that one. So I guess that is what it is.
I mean, my arms and shoulders looked like I was in a muscle shirt.
Yeah, it looked great.
I just realized you can actually see your piercings.
Oh my God, I didn't notice that. We're talking about nipple piercings, by the way.
Yes.
But I would say I really applaud Viking for that, for being a good sport, because not a lot of people can go through that.
No, and come out,
right?
In such a good mood.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I like to be a jokester, and one of the things you learn when you want to crack jokes is if you can't laugh at yourself and you can't make fun of the things that you shouldn't have any right to say anything about anybody else. In a comedic sense, So, I'm not going to sit there and, I would never fat shame someone. I'll fat shame myself. But, that's fine. But, I'm also willing to laugh at my own failings. I'm because why let it bother you? Why let it bring your day down? I mean, I put myself in that situation and I decided to just roll with it.
Yeah, it was fun.
You made your bed and now you slept in it.
No, I was rolling like a freaking Michelin tire.
They see me rolling. They hate it.
And actually, he wore that shirt into the Union Hall, so out in public, which, I mean, there wasn't anybody around, but he got out of his work truck.
Hey, I was committed to wear that shirt all day if I had to.
Oh my God, now that would have been great.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you didn't have to, because you couldn't hardly breathe. Oh, man.
Oh, they look at my customer's face. What priceless.
Oh, my Jesus. All right, so we're getting
once we get the site up and running, maybe we'll post pictures.
Put a picture. Put a picture there.
That way you guys can look at it and figure out what the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's a Patreon exclusive.
Start an OnlyFans with that.
Ooh.
I would have to pay people. I don't think I'm making money.
No, we've already decided if someone's starting an OnlyFans, it's the Diplomat.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yes.
No.
Oh,
Definitely.
yes.
No.
Definitely. Hey, I mean, we're talking about sex work here today.
We're all
make
for
you
that.
our
Yeah.
sex worker.
I can guarantee you I'll be your first subscriber.
And I will be maybe the first or second,
You guys
depending
better
on
tip
how
good,
fast
then.
you get there.
I better get a good tip.
Oh, we'll get the
just the
we'll
tip.
get the good tip.
Just the tip.
But unfortunately, 31 won't be providing a very large tip.
Not all of us are blessed.
But I don't know. Are we still on the
we're
topic?
still on. I mean, go ahead and why don't you wrap it up for us?
I mean, going back to the sex trade, I personally feel that 1,000,000% it should be legal here in the United States. It should be federally regulated. Have them pay taxes, put those taxes to good use. And I think with, society as a whole here being open to the concept of having sex workers, the sex trade itself, it will solve a lot of problems. It might not solve everything. It will solve a few. Safety, rapes, and all sorts of things. Maybe even depression as well. So I'm all for it.
I agree. I'm actually all for it as well. Is anybody against it? Real quick, gosh, we're already running over. Real quick, I think that's a lot of the problem in this country is that disconnect between the lawmakers and the citizens.
Absolutely.
We as citizens are like, no, make it legal. We want things like that. We want, sex trade to be legal. We want marijuana to be legal. Now, I personally don't want things like heroin and that kind of stuff. That's a little much. People do kill themselves, whether good or bad. And I mean, there are people who could say, well, I have that freedom to do whatever the fuck I want to myself. Right. And okay, I can listen to that argument and understand that as well. But
I think for the marijuana thing, I think as long as Big Pharma is still writing our laws or having their hand in the law writing, we'll never see federal legalized marijuana in this country.
Yeah, and you know that is a problem, but there is that disconnect. I believe there is that disconnect between, you know, lawmakers and the citizens of this country, regardless of what side of the aisle you fall on.
Yeah.
You know, but all right. Anything else?
No.
Florida man?
Unfortunately, we don't get a crazy Florida man story today.
I know.
Today.
No rants, no nothing.
31's going to get some action if it becomes legalized.
Finally.
I guess it's been a while. All right, we're going to go ahead and wrap the collective up. I was your host, Papa Smurf.
I'm the Viking.
I'm the diplomat.
I am the Florida man.
And I'm 31.
Thank you guys, and have a good day.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.